Hi guys, it's been a while. I'm sorry. Honestly, I can't tell you why I stopped vlogging. It seems to just be a thing that happens when life gets in the way and work gets in the way. I just prioritize real life. Oh my god, so much has happened, and I probably should have updated you guys more, or at least just recorded it for myself to get everything off my chest, but these last few months have been really insane. Really insane. Nothing like super drastic, change your life terrible has happened, but like certain events in the last probably 4 or 5 months have just kind of piled on, and it's just been insane. But I think the biggest update that I wanted to tell you guys about is I'm moving out of this apartment. I've already got a place lined up, and my new landlord is gonna finish up the apartment so I can move in before May. So I'm gonna be here throughout April, and then May I'm gonna be moving actually just a few blocks away in a single single apartment. So it's just gonna be me and my cats, and I'm very excited about that. You know, if anybody has been watching, you know, or wanted to know where I've been and what's been going on, that's why I'm making this video. Things with me and my roommate haven't been working out the way that I don't think either of us had honestly hoped for. And like, it wasn't really like she did anything wrong or I did anything wrong, like specifically. It's been stuff adding up over time, and obviously there's two sides to every story, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. So obviously I can't have her explain her side of the story, but I can only really explain on my end what's been going on. And I'm not going to get into spilling the tea or like drama and stuff like that, but the best way I can describe it is, you know, initially when I first moved in here last July, you know, we knew each other as coworkers, but we didn't really know each other. So when I moved in, I guess we had a different impression of what the other person was like. And obviously when you live with somebody, you get to learn a lot about them, and you see them on a daily basis. And I started realizing probably within the first few months of me living here, even though it was a lot better, and it still is a lot better than living with my ex-roommate, we definitely are a lot less compatible than originally anticipated. Like, for example, she's super political, and I hate politics. I hate them. I mean, I have certain beliefs and things that I believe in, but I'm not like one side or the other. You know, I'm not political. I think politics makes people hate themselves. I think it makes people distrustful. I think politics tears families apart. I don't like politics. But she's super political and very hard with her belief. Like, she has a set belief system in her, you know, political views, and every once in a while politics would come up, and it wouldn't be like a screaming match, but it would definitely be like a kind of a heated debate. And that's happened on more than just a handful of occasions since I've moved in here in July, and that's exhausting. Feeling like I'm being judged for what I believe in, and me kind of being the person that, like, I don't like to fight, I don't like to argue, especially with the person I'm living with, so I tend to avoid or just keep my mouth shut. And so it's like, I feel like I can't really speak my mind or my opinions on stuff without it being trampled or devalued, which kind of sucks. Also, at least from my perspective, I feel like the separation in house chores has been pretty unfair. I understand she works really hard. Like, she works from 3 in the morning to like 11 a.m. And of course I do my dayside shifts, and my shifts are anywhere from 8 to 13 hours, and I don't have a set schedule. Like, today I close, and then I have to be up at like 5 in the morning to do a lunch shift. Like, my hours are crazy. But I feel like primarily I've been the one doing the house chores, like sweeping, mopping, dishes, floor towels, vacuuming, trash, stuff like that. And I don't really mind it because I like having a clean apartment, but I feel like it's just been more and more like put on me to keep the apartment clean. She does do, she does take care of her stuff. Obviously, I'm not saying she's lazy. I'm not saying she doesn't take care of her stuff, because she does. But it's just like the overall stuff I feel like I've been doing more of, I guess. She may agree or disagree, but, again, that's just how I feel. And it's like kind of hard feeling like the cleanliness of the apartment is just on me, really. And sometimes I don't always get around to doing it, and it just makes me feel lazy and bad about myself, even though I'm working really, really hard. Same with like religious / spiritual beliefs. I don't have a set religion, but I am spiritual. And she has her beliefs. And again, anytime we would get into a conversation about it, I would feel like she was either making fun of what I believed in or just devaluing it, like it wasn't right. And it's like, I'm allowed to believe in what I believe in. I don't need anybody telling me I'm wrong, or I need to believe in something specific. So that's been another thing. I think the biggest thing has been like mental health issues, for both of us, honestly. Neither of us are completely mental illness free. Like, she's got anxiety, depression, and at some point, like on some level, I think she has PTSD. And she has other issues going on with her. And of course, I have my panic disorder and being a manic depressive. And when you have two mentally ill people living in the same apartment, like, crap's bound to happen, like, regardless, whether she's in a certain mood, or like I have a panic attack or something. But like, which has happened. I have had several panic attacks since I've been here for various different stressful reasons, whether it's just like lack of sleep and like really, really hard days at work, or like some kind of drama pops up, or something with bills. Like, just I don't handle stress very well, especially if I'm like not sleeping properly or anything like that. It just really weighs down on me, and then I just get like, so I have had several panic attacks since I've been here, and I guess from what I understand, because we haven't really talked about it, it's freaked her out. And that sucks. Like, I never meant to scare her or anything like that, but I guess got to the point where, she started making me feel really, like, worse about my mental problems. Like, insisting that I need to get health insurance so I can talk to a psychiatrist and a therapist and get on medication, and that nobody with my problems can live unmedicated and without seeing a therapist and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, I'm going to be 24 this year. I've gone this long with my issues, and I'm I have my rough times, but I'm not crazy. I'm not insane. I'm not going after people and breaking things and hallucinating and, whatever. But, like, she's had a habit of making me feel pretty crazy. And, like, there's something super, super wrong with me. And so it's like, when I am feeling like I have a bit of a panic coming on, or I'm having a really depressing day or whatever, I tend to just lock myself in my room and like try to hide from her, because I feel like I can't have a panic attack, or I can't have be depressed or whatever, because I feel like if she sees me in a mood that's other than like neutral or happy, that like she's just gonna make me feel worse about myself. And constantly, like, I guess her trying to push me to like get health insurance that I can't afford, which is very frustrating, because it's like I can only afford so much with my job, and I've been doing okay. Like, my bills are paid, cats are fed, I have groceries, my phone bill's paid, blah, blah, blah. But, it's like, other than that, I can't afford health insurance. Like, so far the asking price for a monthly health insurance is like almost $200, which is just out of my budget. Like I can't do it, but she would make it, always has made it seem like I have no excuse not to have health insurance, and that I need to get another job, or, I need to like drop some kind of other expense that I have to afford health insurance. And to me, it's like, that's not your choice to make. Like, you don't need to dictate my life. And so it's like, I feel like I've been walking, especially in these last, like, probably 4 months, not even 4 months, probably like 3 months. I feel like I've been just walking on eggshells around her, like trying to be as quiet as possible, staying out of her way. I have a lot of anxiety being here because I'm afraid that if I say or do the wrong thing, or I get in her way, or I don't do something, like, she's just gonna freak out and yell at me. And she probably has a different side to it, and like, we haven't really talked about it. We can't, I guess. Like, she's not really talking to me, I'm not really talking to her. We're just like walking around each other and living our lives around each other, but living together, and it's been really, really awkward. And there's just like certain things about her that it's made it really hard for me to live with her. And it feels like I've been trying to accommodate to live with her, but there's been no accommodations for me, and it doesn't really feel fair, I guess. And it's just gotten to the point pretty much where it's like, we're really two different people, and coexisting together just hasn't been working out. So like, sometime last month we talked about it, and by we talked about it, it was more of her, like, how do I say it without sounding like super judgmental and mean? She basically did most of the talking and saying that we can't live together anymore and that I need to leave. And as kind of mad as I was, I agreed with her. Like, I wholeheartedly agree that we can't live together. We can't coexist civilly in the same apartment together. Like, we can't do it. We're just two different people with two different views. And there's like almost no mutual ground. And it's like, I don't hate her. I don't. Like, I think she's a good person, but we're just two opposite people and living two different lives in two different directions and have too many different goals, and it's just not working, and it's more stress to live with each other than if we were separated. So basically we both agreed that it's probably best that I move out, and I'm not offended or anything. I'm not mad at her. I don't hate her. Like, I can't judge her for feeling the way she does or thinking the way she does. Like, it's not my right. And I don't blame her, because I also agree that just living the way that we have been hasn't been fun or healthy or anything. So that started a very kind of panicky time of trying to find a place to live. And it's been the first time that I've ever really had to look for a place to live, like, completely by myself. So I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety, like, what if I don't find a place, and all this other stuff. And I thought I was going to be moved out by April, but I had 2 coworkers that were looking for a place to live as well. And when I got the news, or when me and my roommate agreed that I should move out, I started kind of panicking a little bit, because I'm like, okay, I've never looked for an apartment on my own. I've never tried to lease an apartment, like, by myself. I don't really know what to do. And 2 of my employees / coworkers were also looking for a place to live. So I was like, okay, great. Why don't we all 3 of us find a place to live and move in together? That way, like, things will be so much cheaper. And they agreed. So we started, it was probably like 2 or 3 weeks of like apartment hunting. And we thought that we had found an apartment. It was a 3-bedroom apartment. And even though finances were going to be pretty tight, I was able to talk to the landlord. I was able to talk to the landlord and have him cut us a deal to split the first month's rent and the security deposit in 2 separate payments. And even though it was going to be tight, it was going to work. And all 3 of us agreed that, okay, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tight, but we can make this work. Cool. And literally 2 days after that, they weren't going to tell me, but I figured it out that they were looking at a completely separate apartment for just them, and that they had no intention of actually moving in with me. And like, they weren't going to tell me, and that pissed me off a lot. Like, I was livid when I found out, and I went off on them. Because like, they were legitimately going to move into an apartment without telling me, without me, essentially leaving me on my own. And I'm like, what people do? Like, what kind of person does that? Like, I would never do that to somebody. And so I had to go back to the landlord and explain the situation, and that they backed out, and me and him talked about it. My landlord's name is Bob, by the way. And we agreed that, like, the way that they acted and how they went about, like what they did, kind of just proves that, like, maybe they don't have the best rental history, and that they're not as financially stable as they originally, like, came across as. And so I agreed it was probably best that I don't move in with them, because it's like, if they were willing to do that, who knows what would happen if we actually had moved into an apartment together. Like, I can't imagine. But Bob was nice enough to let me look at just like a single small apartment just for me and my cats. He's still remodeling it. Like, he's got to sand the floors, seal some things, paint, just kind of finish cleaning, like fixing up the bathroom and the kitchen and stuff like that. And he knows that what my 2 coworkers did was not my fault, so he is still going to cut me a break. The apartment I'm looking at right now, I can only imagine how nice it's going to look when I actually move in, but he's still going to cut me a break and allow me to pay the first month's rent and security deposit in 2 separate payments, because now that I'm looking for a place by myself, it's a lot harder to afford. But the place I'm looking at, like, when everything's all said and done and I'm settled, it's going to be $675 a month plus electricity. It's going to be really tight, and that's like basically a full paycheck for me, but I'll always have 1 paycheck to myself, so I'm pretty sure I can make this work. And overall, I just feel like it's better that I live by myself. I've always had roommates. I've never lived completely by myself, alone, independent. And I feel like that would be best at this point, because it's just over time, and it's been a huge learning curve for me, realizing that overall, people are just going to look after themselves. In the end, they're just going to look out for what's best for them and their intentions, and covering their butts, and not really caring about what happens to another person. And I'm not the kind of person to be like that. I have a really bad habit of trying to take care of everybody but myself, and that's gotten me in trouble on more than one occasion. And it's just gotten to the point now where I realize I need to live on my own, and I just need a chance to be by myself, because these last few months have been wicked bad with anxiety, and just like one thing adding on to another thing, adding on to another thing. And like with me and work, or with me and my roommate here, and then pretty much getting stabbed in the back by 2 of my coworkers, and just like little things over time that have been driving me pretty crazy. And it's gotten to the point where it's like, I need to take my life into my own hands, and I need to start just caring about myself. I'm not one to really be selfish or anything like that. I don't like being selfish and just thinking about me, but the rest of the world does that apparently. And so I need to really focus on my life and taking care of myself. Because otherwise, this is the closest to almost homeless I've ever been in my life. And it's proving to me that I can't really trust people, which sucks. And I do have people I can trust, but they can't really help me at the moment, and I don't like asking for favors. But my landlord or soon to be landlord, is being really awesome and letting me pay first month's rent and the security deposit in 2 separate payments. So as long as I come up with $675 before May, he's going to let me move in a few days beforehand, because my roommate's made it pretty clear that she doesn't want me here anymore. And I mean, obviously I could catch that vibe, because like we don't even talk. We occasionally exchange a message over Facebook about like bills or something, but that's it. So it's just gotten to the point where we literally live our lives around each other in silence, and it's really awkward. And she's letting me stay here through April, but she's kind of made the executive decision that I have to be out by May. And I would lie if I didn't say that was a little frustrating, because it's putting a lot of pressure on me to like really try to hurry this up and be out by May, because like otherwise she's the kind of person, and she's done this before to her past roommates by taking them to court, and I can't afford that, and I'm not gonna go to court. Like, that's a crock of crap pretty much, and I'm just not gonna do it. So to save her time and save me time and stress and money that neither of us have, I am putting more pressure on myself to get as much money as I possibly can and be out by May. And I also I want to live on my own. Like I said, having roommates is just, it's stressful. And I've never completely lived independently on my own, only relying on myself. And I feel like it's going to be tough. I'm going to have to be a lot more strict on what I'm spending my money on. But I do feel like it'll be worth it, just having my own place where I don't have to worry about another roommate. I don't have to worry about, if I'm going to wake the other person up, or how to decorate my place. Like everything I own is in this bedroom, other than like my dishes and my coffee pot. And it's like everything else is hers, and the rest of the apartment is decorated how she likes. And so I've always kind of had this, like, I'm just a guest kind of, like, I never really felt like this was my apartment as much as I really tried to. And just living with somebody where you feel like you have to be a certain way all the time, or like, you're going to get in trouble, or you're going to be judged or criticized or whatever. And I would never say that she ever criticized me on purpose or like tried to dictate my life on purpose. I think it's just, she's kind of OCD, like she's a little obsessive with how she likes things. And, I can't really go into that because, her mental health is none of my business, but it does affect the way I live here. And of course my mental state affects the way she lives here. And I want to be able to wake up and go to bed knowing that I don't have to worry about where me and my cats are going to live, or if there's going to be a fight, or, I can have guests over whenever I want and not have to run it by her, or be quiet, because I'm worried that I'm going to wake her up. I don't want to, I want to be able to just live my life and completely be myself 100% and not have to worry about getting judged or criticized, or, if I'm having a bad day, I'll be living on my own. So like if I have a panic attack, I don't have to worry about scaring her or anything like that. And, I can just take care of myself. Or if I'm feeling depressed, I don't have to worry about her telling me that I need to go see a therapist and be on medication. Like, it just, telling that to somebody, like, even if it came from the best intentions, like the way she would tell me just didn't make me feel any better. And like she was almost making it a requirement if I wanted to live here. And it's just too much pressure. That's the thing. Like, over time, she's unintentionally put way too much pressure on me, where I just do not feel comfortable or happy living here anymore. And apparently my panic attacks and stuff like that have scared her, even though I have never once ever had a panic attack where I came after her or I verbally attacked her or anything like that. So the fact that she said that she's scared of me hurts my feelings and confuses me, because it's like I've never taken it out on her, ever. She's seen me have a few panic attacks and she's helped me calm down, and I'm grateful for that, obviously. But, you know, I feel like I should have kept them to myself at this point, because it's like, you know, it just made her, I guess, see me more crazy, which really sucks. But yeah, I want to live on my own in a place where I just don't have to worry anymore, and I can 100% authentically be myself and just have to worry about me and my cats and not have to worry about cleaning up after somebody else, or, you know, only have to worry about, like, even though financially it's going to be a little hard, I'm going to be able to do it, and just being completely reliant on myself, I think, is going to be a huge growing lesson for me, and a huge learning curve, and it's going to make me a lot more responsible, and it's just going to teach me a lot of good lessons and keep me on track and responsible and not spending money on frivolous things, which I don't really do, but, you know, I could spend my money slightly more wisely. But yeah, I don't know if anything that I've said made sense, but I do feel like explaining it, or at least just getting it off my chest to myself. So I have another month living here, and in the meantime, I have to save up $675 to initially move in to the apartment that I'm looking at. I'm pretty excited about it. It's a huge relief that I actually have a place. I've seen it. I know it's going to be mine. I have it envisioned in my head, and I'm going to keep that as my goal, that I need to do this. I am going to do this. Like, it's kind of like the law of attraction. I'm visualizing what I want and what I need to do to gain what I want, and I'm not gonna fail. I can't. At this point, like, she sent me a message this morning. I woke up to it, where she thanked me for paying rent, obviously, but then made it very, very clear, and I quote, "I will expect you to be completely moved out on May 1st. And my landlord knows that I cannot stay past May 1st, so he's gonna kind of step up on making sure the apartment's ready for me before I move in, so I can get out of here a few days before the 1st. So it's kind of like, at this point, a real buckle down, focus, you need to keep your head on straight, no more screwing around situation. So it's been really tough. It's been extremely stressful. Like, my anxiety has been completely through the roof. Not a day goes by in these last probably 2 months or so where I don't have some kind of anxiety or some kind of stress or some kind of sleep problem. Like, it's been really, really bad. But I finally have I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm not getting it for free, obviously. I need to really focus and work hard and to obtain this apartment, and I'm going to, because I can't fail. I can't. I'm getting extremely lucky, and my landlord's being extremely nice. So I'm going to do what I have to do, and I'm going to be out of here. Other than that, I think that's been, like, the biggest thing that's been going on. And I hope I explained it okay. I know it's not... this whole video has been rambly and may not really make too much sense, but that's basically the gist of what's been going on, and I hope it makes sense. It's 10:30, the 27th, and I guess that's all for now. I just wanted to give you guys an update on, like, the biggest thing that's been going on lately. And yeah, I hopefully will talk to you guys later. I guess that's all I really had to say. I do work today and tomorrow. Yeah, I work today, which is Tuesday, tomorrow, which is Wednesday. I think I have Thursday off, and then, of course, I work through the weekend again. So this is going to be probably the biggest journey since initially moving out on my own. I think this is going to be the biggest journey of my life. I've never completely lived by myself, like completely alone. The only time I did was when my ex roommate had to be gone for like those 5 or 6 months. And another thing that I'm confident that I'm going to be able to do this is during those 5 or 6 months that I was living completely on my own, even though I was working really, really hard, it was probably the best time of my life. I always felt safe and comfortable. I could have the apartment clean all the time, organized all the time. I had it exactly the way I wanted. I didn't have to worry about him or all the stress and the drama that was going on with that. And even though I was paying the full amount of rent plus my half of the utilities and my phone bill and food, like food for my cats and stuff like that, I was still able to make it work, and I was getting paid less than what I am now, and I was still able to make it work. So I do not see why there isn't a reason that I can't make that work again. And knowing that, I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to make this work, and soon enough I'll be living on my own completely again, and I think it's going to be, why am I burping? I think it is going to be the best decision I've made, and I'm going to be a lot happier. And it's not that far from work, so I can, possibly start walking to work again, which would help, because like the gym has been kind of non-existent since all this stuff started going down. But yeah, I guess that's it. If I can think of anything else, I'll update you guys later, but that's pretty much the gist of what's been going on now. So I hope you guys can understand, and I will talk to you guys later.